Hello and welcome to sort of a dual review with two Finnish bands. This is a split release, so without further ado, let's welcome the bands in question. First we start with a band called Malum, which is only 5 years old but still very active, being released 2 full-length albums, 3 EPs and 2 split albums, this being the second one of them. The other band is Lathspell, founded in 2018, so already 20 years of experience with its melodic black metal. Now these two bands have been doing gigs together, so it's not so much a surprise that they actually ended up doing a split release, which is kind of a classical format with bands having sort of companionship. As you can see, this release, the CD format, is actually quite refreshing with its kind of a white, gold and a little bit black color scheme. But also I will have vinyl version for you vinyl freaks to see, so you get a good glimpse on what lies inside. First of all, there's this kind of a extra piece of paper which gives you the track list and the logos and whatnot. Then there's obviously the actual LP. By the way, this is 45 minutes, so it's full-length split, not some mini CD. Then we have a lyric sheet, of course, because it's on the CD as well. The color scheme is the very same, and obviously the cover art, which gets a nice new dimension with the LP format. Kind of a plain, but I really like the style. It's been kind of a simple and yet clear black metal. Now, music-wise, these two bands are actually really close to each other. If you have missed one of them, you basically know the other one if you have at least heard Malum or Lathspell. Then again, if you're familiar with the band's previous work, then you know what these bands are actually all about. Very typical melodic Nordic black metal. One could even say that very typical Finnish melodic black metal. Now, it's kind of hard to put two bands with very same style and in comparison and decide which one is the best, because obviously it's a matter of taste more than anything. For me, Malum has always picked the first position in these two bands, and Lathspell, well, has been right after, but not as good. But like I said, this is only my opinion, and it might be totally wrong opinion in the sense of, well, opinions can't be wrong in the first place. Now, this album is made of 3 songs by each band and quite long ones, whereas Lathspell is averaging somewhat like 7 minutes each and thus quite long. Malum takes the higher level, and not in a good way, having the shortest one about 5 minutes and then some, and then one 8-minute track, and in the end the void track, which is more than 10 minutes. Now, first 2 tracks on Malum's side are probably the best this split album has to offer. They are more in your face, better constructed songwriting and better riffs in general. But Void track is probably the weakest one on this album. First of all, it's way too lengthy for its own good. The band kind of doesn't have the ability to keep it all together for more than 10 minutes. And it's kind of sad because it feels like a leftover track. But it's not that bad, it's gonna ruin the album or Malum's side, but it's just probably the weakest link on the album. Lathspell, then again, is of different breed, and they are very consistent with all their 3 songs. That is to say, there are no weaker or better links, and as maybe in general, Lathspell is losing this game just by an inch. Like I said, both of these bands are very much on the same level and very much of the same style, so it's up to nuances and details whether which band is going to be better in your ears. Malum, however, I think has better production on this album and maybe a tiny bit of amount better vocals too. Lathspell then again is more diverse, having a bit of growly shades with their screamy parts, so more variety there than Malum, but like I said, these are obviously all matters of taste. Now, I have never been a big fan of neither of these bands because well, in my books, they have done decent material all the way along, but maybe due to the huge amount of these material these bands are producing, they are maybe just using too much kind of a B-grade material for your own good. But this album is a positive surprise because I think this kind of represents the better sides of both bands. So whether you're a newcomer to these bands or already familiar with these bands' music, I can most certainly say that this is one of the most recommended album by each band. So even though it's a split release, it's probably one of the best releases of either bands. So should Nordic or Finnish melodic black metal be your cup of tea, I strongly suggest you checking out this particular split. And it's out on CD, LP, digital and tape. So there's a lot of choice for yours truly. So go take a look at those samples and figure out if this is your cup of tea or not. Thank you for watching this review, and as always, more stuff coming your way through Rauta channel. Cheers!